Do it.
All right.
Do it.
Woo!
We're on pre-show.
We are on
We did it.
pre-show.
Hello.
Awesome.
Hello, viewers.
Yay!
I've been bad and I haven't promoted like anything this week or posted anything. I'm still
Can't
like
believe it.
this weekend was just really overwhelming between the 2 parties, 3 parties if you count the one that Megan had, the friend of hers that was visiting, and then because we didn't have D&D, then doing chores before the party on Saturday and getting ready for that. So normally like I would do stuff on the weekend and like basically plot out a whole week's worth of social media posts. Didn't do that. And then I don't know if I'm getting hit with like round 2 of whatever cold. But yeah. So it's been great. So but yeah. I did finally get to play a little bit of Monster Hunter again last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles X. I just got my mech, my first one.
That was about the point at which I like checked out of the game. I was like, I'm no.
I really like the story thus far. It's just I hate how the story missions are gated behind explore X amount of this area and complete this affinity mission.
Yep.
Like I wish I could just do the story mission like whatever at my own pace.
Yep.
That being said, if that were the case, its pacing kind of sucks. But if
What game are we talking about?
Xenoblade
Discord
Chronicle,
freaked out on me. Okay.
Xenoblade Chronicle X. Each story mission, like there's always like a big reveal or something big happens. So the pacing in that aspect is really good as far as the story goes.
Yeah.
Sean there?
Yes.
Hello?
I see him. I hear you, Josh. Discord just did something really, really weird.
Do you guys hear me?
To me, where it like kicked me off, and
it sounded like you dropped out, but Sean was
yeah.
Here.
I don't know.
Well, that's great.
At least this is happening in pre-show.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, hopefully it can you guys not hear me at all?
Let's see. Sean, are you back?
Courtney? Do you hear me? Nope. Well, this is lovely. Screw you, Discord. Leave call.
There?
Yeah.
There we
go.
I fucking hate Discord so much.
Why?
It's just this happens all the time. Lately, anyway.
Oh, I've never noticed it happen before.
Yeah. So.
Anyways, what I was saying about Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yes.
Each story mission, the pacing is really good in the story missions because there's always something happening. It's not like dragging. Now, where that breaks apart is there's so much exploring and gating in regards to like you have to do all this other stuff to get to story missions that it's like, okay, sometimes it's just like I'm starting to feel what I felt in original Xenoblade with all this side mission stuff. Is like,
Yeah.
I'm just go kill this monster, go collect these things, go. It's like, okay, nice that the fast travel was really good in this.
Yeah.
That I just basically hit where I want to go on the gamepad and I'm there, which that makes it a lot easier. I'm not running around as much across maps. But there's also a lot of systems in this game. Like there's so much going on and to think about. I have just augments and you have your gear, you have your skell gear, you have spirit voices. I don't even know what the spirit voices are. I haven't even touched them. I looked at it once. I said there's too much words and I don't know what they do.
Yep. Yeah, the
this
spirit
one seems
voices.
good. It makes me do more damage. Fine.
The spirit voices, I think, are basically like emotes almost.
Yes.
That
I didn't quite
that
get
when
it. I'm like,
activated, they have combat related functions, and I'm like, this is dumb. This is
it
it's
sounds
too
like
much.
just when they say a certain thing, something happens.
It's too much, and
there's just a lot.
I can't.
And like right now, I just got my Mac. I'm like, I don't know how to equip. What's a good to equip on it. I'm not sure like what's a good build and like how
Yeah.
the arts work on this. I'm not like, it's cool. It looks rad as heck. It's awesome. I just don't know how to use it efficiently.
Yeah.
And like, I only have the one for my main, and my other 3 people just follow me around until which I just have the game running right now, and I'm just waiting for my passive revenue to build up so I can buy mechs for everybody.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
But, I mean, that being said, that's a lot of little things in my book for me that are just adding up.
Yeah.
Overall, I actually really like the game. I think I'm maybe halfway through story wise. I'm quite curious to see where it goes, and I want to see what parallels it draws to the other Xeno games because I'm curious because they all share a lot of themes.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
Yeah. So
I mean,
even though I didn't finish the game, I know the story and how it ends.
No, the thing I told you was like mission 3 or something. You're like, oh, we found part of the life hold, and you go to it, and the gangling blow it up. I'm like, oh, that's not good. There's probably like 1 million people on that or something.
Yeah.
And then the next mission's like, oh, I think it's at the end of that mission you lose your arm. I'm like,
it's something.
I'm like, why is my arm and you have robot parts, and I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we're all robots. We're just being controlled by our sleeping consciousness inside the spaceship that we're trying to find.
What?
I'm like, oh, this is great. This is my type of game.
Yep.
So it's like Avatar?
Kind of.
Yeah.
They're like all robot copies of themselves, but their consciousness, and their bodies are cryogenically frozen somewhere. And
so the idea is, Courtney,
consciousness controls these robots that are them.
This is essentially the life hold is basically the cryostasis chamber of a colony ship that escaped Earth when like a bunch of alien factions showed up and used Earth as a battleground and blew it up. And so your avatar is basically a 1-to-1 copy of you that is being controlled by you. And the reason it's a 1-to-1 copy is so that way... Now, what is going on now? What is going on? Oh, it's my internet. What the... Okay, nothing there. Anything downloading here? Update cube. Look at that. This is dumb. All right, I don't know. Oh my god.
Oh, hi.
Oh hi.
God, I really
That's like weird. This
fucking
is
hate
not.
Discord.
This has not happened this badly. Like,
I don't know what is prompting it
yeah.
and why it's being such a pain in the ass.
Unsure.
I also had a very frustrating day at work, so I'm like, my level of
You're a
tolerance
little
for this bullshit
your
is
salty
like,
level
is
is getting
gone.
up there. Yeah.
So yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. So we may just do a short one.
Well, there's not much on the agenda anyway.
No. Although I did want to add one quick news. I started watching The Umbrella Project. I'm a third of the way through already, almost. It's only like a 10-episode series, but it's really good.
Okay.
I'm really liking it. And Ellen Page is in it, which is just beautiful.
All right. Why don't we get things started then?
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, going live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up on episode 131, Mario Maker 2, Jessica Jones and Punisher canceled, Tetris 99, and much, much more on the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest geeky news of the week. I am joined by my two co-hosts, as usual, Courtney Bolin.
Hey, everybody.
And Josh York.
I'm going to call BS on your much, much more.
Well,
on the intro.
Yeah, I mean... Well, I say that because I never know what tangents we're going to go
That
on.
is true. That is
I
true.
mean,
You know,
we are quite tangential.
We can turn one news topic into a 2-hour podcast because of all the tangents. Or you can talk about
Disney for 45 minutes.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. And I am your host, Sean Hayes, since I forgot to introduce myself. So, due to the fact that we've had 2 Discord disconnects this evening already, and the fact that it's a bit of a light news week, this may be a short podcast.
Why you do this, Discord?
I don't know. I really wish. There was probably some update where they broke something. Or it could be the sleet storm that's going on outside.
Is it storming right now? I didn't know.
Yeah, it was starting to do something. I don't know. It's going to be fun driving to work. I'm so excited.
It started like an hour ago.
Yeah.
It was like after I had gotten home and when I went to take the dog out.
Yeah, it's going to be like 2 inches, up to 2 inches of snow and up to 1/10 of an inch of ice, according to the news when I watched it this morning at 6 a.m.
Well, that's annoying.
Yeah, we have a weather statement until 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So excited.
Yeah. But we do have a couple of news items.
Yes.
So, we forgot last week, apparently, Mario Maker 2 was announced. They must have announced it like first thing in the direct.
It was.
5 minutes I missed.
I thought that we had talked about that.
No, we did not, because I didn't see it.
I actually remember we did.
Yeah.
So I didn't find out until after the podcast that when I saw a bunch of tweets about Mario Maker 2 and I went, what? Nani?
Yeah.
So yes.
Nani?
Apparently included in Mario Maker 2 is a new Koopa Troopa enemy that drives around in a Jeep.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. I'm super excited for it. I really enjoyed the original one. My hope is that it is more than
Torture Simulator 2.
torture. Yeah, all the what do they call
Everything
them?
I've ever watched of that seems awful, and why would anybody want to play it?
It was
Well, I
there's
think
a specific kind. There's a specific term for those levels, and I can't remember what the name is. But yeah, they like intentionally it just screw you over with like you do a jump expecting there to be something or whatever, and then like midway through the jump, like an enemy will just randomly appear and kill you, kind of a thing. Kaizo, that's what they are, Kaizo levels. Yeah, my hope is that this game that the community does not just turn into Kaizo levels, autoplay levels, and like music levels. And the autoplay is just like you don't do anything. And then the music levels are, again, you don't do anything, but the whole point is to just like play a song. And it's like, that was novel like the first 5 times. Then after that, it's let's just make actual levels to play.
I think there is a limited amount you can do with the mechanics in Mario. And then once there's a limited amount of interesting, fun levels you can make before just making them difficult and challenging. Because yeah, you can do, okay, we did all these interesting kind of neat little things, and there's only so much you can do with the mechanics. Great. Now let's see if we can make it challenging. Now let's just make it more and more challenging until it's just ridiculous. That's what I think. The
challenge rating is over 10,000.
I would disagree.
And then you're going to see a lot of those novel things.
But I know, I mean, with any sort of user submitted content kind of a thing, you're going to get like 90% garbage and then 10% like real good gems. I saw somebody recreated the entirety of Mega Man 2 in Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where you would, with the Mega Man amiibo, like you would actually turn into Mega Man, and then you would go through and you would fight. They weren't able to do like a 1-to-1 recreation of the bosses, but it was like they did pretty good approximations using what they had to work with. And they actually had some really interesting mechanics for how they represented stuff. So it might have been like that there would be like a bomb that drops down and you would have to like kick it toward the boss. And you would have to like get it to hit the boss in order for it to actually take effect, kind of a thing. For like Crash Man or something. But that was pretty cool to see. And I've played through a couple of really interesting and like appropriately challenging levels.
Right.
So yeah. But one of the big things is we're also getting slopes.
Yes, I know that was like the big part about like the video in the direct is like, oh yeah, we get slopes now. Awesome.
Yeah.
What are slopes?
Instead of steps,
you can slide down them.
Okay. I know what a slope is. I know what the word means, but I didn't know if it had a different context or meaning in Mario specifically.
Yeah,
or
it's
a specific mechanic associated with it.
Yeah,
I think I know what you meant.
Yeah,
that started in like Mario 3, right? Where you could start
sliding. Yes. Yeah. So it's simply in that like you can slide down them, and if you're running along it, it counts as like a flat plane for the purposes of picking up speed. Mm-hmm. So that matters for if you do like the raccoon tail or the super feather or like the super cape and stuff like that. You're also going to get cat suit. So cat suits will be available in the game, so you'll have climbing mechanics available from Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
So yeah.
All I can think of when anybody climbs anything, particularly ladders in video games, is Metal Gear Solid 3. There's a section where he just climbs a ladder for, I think it's literally like 5 minutes. You climb up this ladder, and like this theme song of the game plays while you're doing it, and it's just.
I think there was a level in GoldenEye that was like that too.
Where it
was at the end of the game.
Climbing a ladder.
It was the end of the game where you were like, I can't remember if it was you were going up from like the underground base into the satellite array, and it was just like a giant ladder that goes all the way up. Because it's like that in the movie. Because it's like an access ladder to get into this giant satellite dish. So yeah. So any other thoughts for Mario Maker?
No, I mean, I've never.
Oh,
That genre has not really applied to me that much.
June
But
2019, by the way.
woo,
So
but I know a bunch of people who are pretty excited about it, so I am
Yeah.
excited for them.
yeah. The other big news this week, it unsurprisingly to anybody, Jessica Jones and Punisher are canceled by Netflix.
I'm sad.
It also came out that there is a sort of 2-year non-compete clause for all of those Marvel properties. So not only did Netflix cancel them, they said for 2 years after the cancellation, nobody can pick that series up. So that kind of threw a wrench in the theory that, like, oh, well, Disney's doing the cancellation to move them to their own network because they won't be able to.
Yeah, because that's what my thought had been.
So it
That
seems like that it was really
it was-
just like these shows cost too much money to make, but
Yeah.
Netflix doesn't want anybody to pick them up.
Could be.
So
I also, just full disclosure, I've never watched any of the Netflix Marvel shows. I don't know. It's probably a good thing that just do it before it gets stale. I mean, do a couple seasons and then okay, before you get sick of it.
I mean, I think it's tough because I absolutely love and devoured Jessica Jones. Not that big into Punisher, to be very honest. But I think I've loved what they've put out, so I am a little bit sad that it's gonna get canceled. But I'm wondering, just because wasn't there gonna be another season coming out, and then they're canceling it, or is it canceled like nothing more is coming out even now?
all the reports that I've heard say canceled.
Okay.
But Marvel intends, once that 2 years is up, Marvel intends to, seems like they intend to do something with those properties.
Pick it back up and yeah.
They were a little vague about it, but I can imagine that they would put it somewhere, whether it's Hulu or Disney Plus or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what they're calling their streaming service.
Yes.
Disney Plus.
Yep.
Ugh. But
So, well, I mean, it was either Disney Plus, Disney Go, or no, that's it, right? Because all
Disney
the other ones,
domination,
or Disney Now,
yeah.
because that's pretty much every streaming service now coming out that's related to a channel is either Plus, Go, or Now.
Yep.
And if you're HBO, it's both Go and Now.
Yes, which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have different one is what, just streaming, and the other is like streaming and on demand type of stuff.
Well, so one is if you have an HBO like cable account. The other one is like strictly for streaming.
Yeah.
If you don't have cable, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So.
Or you can add it to your Hulu account.
Yeah.
Because that's other things that you can do.
But yeah, so it's Hulu Plus, Disney Plus, CBS Go, HBO Go, HBO Now. So, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised at all to hear that they were going to be canceled.
No, I mean, it was going to happen. Like, as much as I love it.
All the Marvel shows are canceled now, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah. My thinking is,
except for I need to look up, but I know that Hulu was doing a Marvel Runaways or something.
Runaways, I thought that was on cable.
It might be.
It's on overview, please.
That might be a Fox. That might be a Fox thing.
I don't know.
Because since Fox and FX have a number of shows as well.
Legion.
Yep.
I haven't plugged Legion in a long time.
It's Runaways is a Hulu original.
Legion's only doing one more season.
Yeah.
I think. Which, again, I like it. Okay, finish up your story.
Yeah.
And be done. Because I read an article, they said they found who's going to be Professor X in their show. That's
Nice.
not Captain Picard.
Okay.
That's a shame.
That's okay.
That is.
It's fine.
But
It's
I
gonna
think
be
it'll be a very minor
it's
role
gonna be
anyway.
McAvoy,
No, it's someone
No.
else.
because he plays young Professor X, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
I did have that right.
Legion's weird. I can't tell what time period it takes place in. They all dress like it's the 60s or 70s, but there's all modern stuff, so
but
it's
there's
really
like
hard
modern
to.
technology and
Yeah, it's real hard to
it's
pin
so
down the
weird to
time
pin
frame of
down.
that show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so it's kind of like Supernatural in that regard,
Yep.
where it is set in modern times, but all the technology that you're using is from 10 years ago. I think they just recently may have gotten smart. No, they might not have smartphones at this point still. I know for the longest time they were still using flip phones.
As I say, I know they were using flip phones for a long
because they're essentially all burner phones.
Because they are all burners. Let's not be essential here. They're all burners. Because this is Dean's other phone. Like, was one of his voicemail messages.
Yeah. But yeah. So I'm sure we'll see them come back in some capacity.
Yeah.
I want to see.
I also know, like, I mean, how long has it been since like Daredevil and Luke Cage got canceled? Because like,
it's been a while.
I almost feel like it's been almost 2 years.
2 years? I think it's been at least a year.
Yeah.
At least 1 year, yeah.
So, like, we might see it come back next year in some capacity.
I just want to see more weird and different, unique things. I think the Umbrella Academy seems interesting.
Yes,
I think
it is.
I hear a lot about Russian Doll, which isn't a superhero thing, but
yeah,
that's actually on my list. That's also on my list to watch.
Getting straight up perfect scores everywhere I look, and everyone
Yeah.
I've seen mention it says it's pretty awesome.
I finally got into Mystery Science Theater 3000 Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
The Gauntlet, which they intend for you to binge in one sitting, and it's like, oh god, no.
Ugh.
Yeah, I would have to be consuming many adult beverages and doing other adult activities in order to get through the Gauntlet in one sitting.
They put Atlantic Rim right in the middle of it, and my goodness, that movie is truly terrible.
A cheap Pacific Rim?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yep. It's like a sci-fi original Saturday afternoon Pacific Rim ripoff.
Oh goodness.
The plot of the movie had very little to actually do with giant monsters or giant robots. It was like
it was character driven. It was a character driven drama.
It was some kind of love triangle between the three pilots of the robots.
Oh goodness.
Starship Troopers.
It was kind of It was kind of like that.
I would love to see Mystery Science Theater 3K do Starship Troopers.
It's a hard one to do because
I would have fun
Starship
with
Troopers
that.
is bad. It's bad on purpose. It's purposely ridiculous.
And that's why I love it.
Yeah. And it's difficult to do.
Easy to make fun of.
Yeah.
But like it's the best satirical bash on fascism that like exists.
Yeah. It's much better to do it with a film that like takes itself seriously.
Yes.
Mm.
And it's just bad. Then, although Atlantic Rim was the first time I considered turning an episode of MST3K off. It was that bad. I was like, the commentary may not even save this. And that was 15 minutes in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Some of the other ones are far more entertaining than that one. That one was truly awful.
I've not been watching.
I've
been rewatching animes.
And for people that say like any of the Star Wars, whether you think the Star Wars prequels are bad, or you think Episode 8's bad, or 7's bad, or whatever, go watch that movie and get a feel for what a truly terrible movie is.
You know what? Episode 8. Yeah, 8 is the not as good one.
Last Jedi.
It's fine. But I think 7 is great. I think 7's my favorite Star Wars movie. I really do.
Really?
Yep, I really do. it does everything, in my opinion, that the original trilogies do. Just they up it a notch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I also I do think
A fun movie to
people-
watch over and over. It's a movie I can watch multiple times and not get bored of it.
I do think people overestimate the writing of the original trilogy a bit,
Yes, it's a
Oh
nostalgia.
goodness, yes.
It's 100%.
especially episode 4,
Oh yeah.
because the writing's kind of silly, and it's
I hate
meant
to
to be
say
that
it.
way.
I hate to say it, but when you watch, because a couple weeks ago, because I work overnight, so all I have is terrible TV in the middle of the night. But a couple weeks ago, they kept playing the Family Guy trilogy and their take on it.
Yeah,
And I just it was like 3 nights in a row, so it was just one episode and then another and then the other. And that's when you realize exactly how ludicrous the story really is.
yeah,
And I was just like,
yeah,
oh, yeah, yep,
Yep.
that's about right.
yeah,
New Hope is a very simple.
yeah. I mean, it's meant to be based on.
Journey.
It's
very
meant.
simple
Yeah,
hero's
it's
journey.
hero's journey with a dash of I mean, it's Western influence, not like
Yeah.
not like U.S. Canada influence, like
Alright.
like cowboys influenced.
Yeah.
With a dash of I forget, like cereals.
Yeah.
So like Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
And it works. I think it works so well because it's simple, and at the time, it was very original.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it essentially
And even
helped
then, it
define
really
a genre.
It's not. It wasn't even that original. Going back to the serials, because if you go
Yeah.
look at all those '50s serials and comics and stuff,
Oh yeah.
that Star Wars 100% based off that stuff.
Yeah.
So-
Much of the same way that Indiana Jones was meant to be reminiscent of the sort of pulp adventure radio dramas kind of thing. Which I getting on my soapbox for a minute. I've been wanting to kind of throw this at people, but I think because a couple podcasts were talking about the fourth Indiana Jones movie.
Is that the
Crystal
Skull.
Never seen it.
And I want to point out that and this was also thinking about sort of the casino subplot in Last Jedi as well, and how like they go through this whole thing and then like nothing they did mattered or whatever. So like why put it in the movie? Newsflash, folks. Indiana Jones did nothing of consequence in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Is that if he had not gotten involved in that story at all, it would have achieved the same outcome.
Yep, it would have.
Yeah. Is that essentially like it didn't matter that the Nazis found the Ark?
I mean, they still had their faces melted off.
Yeah,
I'll give
which
you
they
this, though.
would have done regardless of whether he found
They
it or
would have
not.
done regardless. Yep.
The entire movie focuses on Indiana Jones as a character.
Yeah.
And so, Lost Ark is the first one, correct? Yes.
Raiders is the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you learn about Indiana Jones, you learn his character, you follow him around. So that's all interesting stuff, right? And he's a fun character to follow. He does
See, it's funny
it's
'cause my-
swashbuckling, basically, right? He's whatever.
Yeah.
A little bit,
It's
yeah.
funny
Kind of.
because my introduction to Indiana Jones was actually Temple of Doom.
But here's my point:
Yeah.
Finn and what's her name are not interesting characters in that movie. In my opinion. Finn was interesting in the first movie, I thought. And I don't even remember the character's name. Who's the
Rose.
girl? Rose. I didn't find her interesting at all. She was just like there.
She was
But that-
there because they needed a leading lady.
It's fine. She was fine. I don't know. It just was meh to me.
Well, it's also
And the whole movie didn't revolve around those two. There were three like separate storylines going on.
No, it's just, the reason why I bring it up is just the point of.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that like the fact that it's about kind of that journey and not the destination, and not like the outcome of your actions, kind of a thing.
Well, no, I mean,
Since
stories are about characters, not the ending always. People make a big to-do about the ending, but I think, again, this is my opinion, the characters are more interesting than the plot.
Yeah.
usually.
Well,
I know
think
this is
to be
also.
able to,
Go ahead, Courtney.
I was gonna say, I think to be able to follow a good story, you need to have investment in the characters. And so if you have really flat characters, you're not going to be able to enjoy any type of story. But the whole point of story is, I agree with you, Josh, is following those characters through whatever might happen to them, but it's following the characters, not the story.
That's not to say plot doesn't matter, because it certainly does.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
there's plot obviously hooks me in a lot of things. Now, how that's executed depends on how well the characters move through the plot.
Yes, because if you have a monotone versus somebody who's able to like actually show passion in their voice, you're going to get two completely different performances
Well,
to the
also
exact.
depends. Maybe there's a purpose for somebody being a monotone, flat person in a story, and maybe there's a function for that. That's interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. You're going to have you're going to get that difference of this is what's going on and why it's going on. And
for an example of a character that needs to be monotone, see Dr. Henry Killinger on the Venture Brothers.
Geez, I haven't watched that in a long time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was just something that I saw a couple
I see what you're
points
saying.
being made. And
I'm just making a counterpoint.
Yeah.
Counterpoint.
It's just one of those things where like you bring that up and then people get really mad about it. Like that Indiana Jones did nothing of consequence in his own entire movie. In his debut
I never
movie.
thought about that until you said it. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, I thought when I thought for it, I'm like, well, that's not the point of that movie, I guess. But maybe it is. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it's more just the adventure of following him around and seeing what he does.
Yeah.
And I was about to say his playing his role, but I guess his role really isn't anything in that particular movie. I have to go back and watch it. It's been a long time.
I mean, it's also apparently archaeologists are like, yeah, we hate that film.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because apparently, I mean, we.
I feel like archaeology is a lot of sitting in sand with a brush.
Oh yeah.
Archaeology is a fine line.
There's also
yeah.
It's often brought up in like the intro scene where he's like essentially tomb robbing to steal like this idol from a bunch of natives. Yeah, archaeologists like that is an ethical travesty, and that's not what we're about.
It's funny because I actually saw a post online like ages and ages ago. It's like, what's the difference between grave robbery and archaeology? Or is a fine line?
Consent.
Yeah.
is the difference.
Consent and probably amount of time.
I'd say intent, to be honest.
Well,
yeah,
if if a civilization doesn't exist anymore and you find this tomb, whatever, and there's nobody to lay claim to it,
yeah,
that's history, and that's preserving relics or whatever what the heck, depending on what you find, right?
Well, it's also like
rather
if you're
than
gonna
stealing from a group of people who still exist.
It's also if you're gonna like work with who could be just considered like descendants of that region, kind of a thing or whatever. It's often talked about like stuff coming out of Central and South America that has been just sent out away from there, and those countries that like have museums of history that have been built up in this day and age are now like, can we have that back, please? Because like you guys took it from here, and it's part of our cultural heritage. Also, a lot of African relics end up like that. A lot of mummies, actually. That Egypt is kind of upset at the number of mummies that have made it out of Egypt.
Yeah, although Cairo's museum has nowhere to store them.
Yeah.
Like legit, the thing is packed from teeth to tooth to tooth.
Or when things happen, like there was a German museum that was trying to restore a mummy, and they screwed up and ruined the mummy's like face, and then tried to fix it, and tried to fix their mistake and made it even worse. And so
that-
it caused an international
What this
incident.
reminds you of? Remember
It's
when
like the painting of Jesus.
Yes.
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 Like the painting of
My
Jesus.
favorite thing.
Yeah.
Wonderful blunder.
Yeah. Let's give this painting to a kindergartner.
Yep. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. But yeah. So
to go back to characters though, and we kind of like brushed over Umbrella Academy real quick though.
Yeah.
Because you brought that up, Josh. I did start watching that. Because it just launched on the 15th of February. So it launched 5 days ago. I was kind of hesitant to watch it. Then I read some reviews about it. It's got a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. I'm really, really liking it. So the entire premise of the show is these 7 kids were all born to mothers who had not been pregnant earlier that day. Yes, the women were not pregnant when the day started, and then they were all born on that day. It's really weird. But so this eccentric, like, genius billionaire dude basically buys these babies and raises them and finds that 6 of them have these intense powers. Like, think X-Men. And so he raises them to be like crime fighters and things like that. And then you cut to present day and he has died. And this is all in like the first like 5 minutes of the whole, of the show. And so of the first show. And so it's about like the kids coming back, and apparently one of their brothers had gone missing years prior. And so when they're all at the house, because one of them had died, and then when the other 5 are at the house, the 6th, the missing brother shows up. And so it's kind of like, and he said, and this is again in the previews and stuff, but he says, the world is going to end in like 8 days or something like that. And so it's about him trying to fix it so the world doesn't end, and all of his siblings' interpersonal everything nonsense. But I'm really liking it. It's 10 episodes. They're about a little bit under an hour long each. Definitely binge worthy. I shall have a full review next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like Heroes.
Yeah. It's.
Hopefully it fares better.
I'm honestly like watching it. I'm loving it because Ellen Page is in it, and I love her. But she is a great character. But I'm loving the show because it's almost like a reimagined X-Men. Although instead of parents lovingly sending their children to this school or begrudgingly sending their children to this school, he's like, "Nope, how much do you want for the baby? All right, cool. I'm raising them as my own now." Although they all knew they were adopted, obviously. But it's very interesting so far.
Do you know who wrote the comic Umbrella Academy?
No, I do not.
Gerard Way, who's the lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
No way.
Yep. He writes comics.
No way.
Yes, very true.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, he actually does a lot. He's written a few comics.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I think he's even done some of the major superheroes. He's done some arcs, I think.
Nice.
Yep.
But
yeah, so that is available on Netflix now.
Cool.
Yeah. Yep.
So really quick, I just mentioned Tetris 99 in the intro.
Yes.
I have been playing it. It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's a pretty good. I got number 2 one time. Came in second. That was crazy.
Really that bad?
Yeah. It gets to the point where because the speed picks up at certain intervals of when a certain number of players are knocked out, And so
Okay,
when you
so
get to the
like
point
regular
where
Tetris, where it just speeds up.
yeah, but so regular Tetris, it's based on number of lines cleared. This
Yeah.
is when it's not based on lines cleared, it's based on player eliminations. So when like 50 players are eliminated, the speed starts picking up. And then like every 10 more players are eliminated, the speed picks up further and further and further. So when you get to like the top 5, it's the bricks are just coming down like this.
Oh, like
And
one
you
after
have
another
barely
after another after
barely
another.
any time to place them. And
Yeah.
so it just becomes like crisis management is the name of the game at that point. Apparently there is a way to target specific players with blocks that you clear. So that when you send blocks over, apparently there are ways for you to like target specific players. So that way you can like figure out
like team
who's
up with
piling on.
somebody.
Yeah.
Or...
You can decide to just like dogpile on one person, knock him out, and then like move on to the next person, kind of a thing. But because there's no information other than a little teeny tiny representation of what's going on their screen, so you don't have any data of like, oh well, that's so and so, their level, they're 30 levels above me, or that person's level 1, let's pick on him. It's just like little tiny screens of what's going on. In real time.
Okay. Wow.
Or you could be like me and you're just like, I'm way too focused on actually playing the game. So, but yeah, it's really good. Especially considering it's free. So, yeah, I mean, it's really good. Best battle royale game of the past 2 years. Boom.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I see a lot of memes about it.
Yep. Yep. I saw a comic that somebody did where it was like the Fortnite characters.
Yeah.
And they were all and it might have been like a PUBG character or something. They're all gathered together trying to figure out how to defeat this Tetris 99 thing or whatever. And then like a little Tetramino fell and they're like, "Oh, it's so cute. It just wants a hug or something like that or whatever." And like a couple more fell. And they were like, "Oh, see, they're not that bad. They're actually kind of cute and everything or whatever." And then all of a sudden, the last panel was like a bunch of Tetraminos fell and like cut somebody's legs off. And they're all like and they all have like little mustaches and they're speaking in Russian.
What?
With like helmets and everything.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, it got weird real quick. So.
Welcome to the internet.
But yeah. I mean that pretty much wraps up for the news for I mean, Captain Marvel comes out soon, couple weeks.
Yep.
So. Apparently, is Lego Movie 2 out? I believe it is.
I'm not sure if it's out yet or if it's coming out. It's coming out soon if it's not out yet.
It kind of stealth released.
Lego Movie 2 no, it's totally playing.
Yeah. Yeah, it just I remember seeing the previews and everything, but they didn't make a big huge splash about it.
I feel like that's something I would hear about at school more often.
Yeah,
no, it totally has launched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just the one movie I'm waiting for, and it's years out, is Dune. That's it.
I did see there's like a big cast list already for it. Looks pretty impressive.
Aquaman.
Yep.
Was cast in it. I wonder who he's gonna be.
Oh, they did have that.
He's not gonna be, definitely not Paul Atreides.
So Dune casting news.
Have either of you ever read Dune?
I
Nope.
have not. No.
You should read it.
I've heard it's amazing.
Great.
So, Warner Brothers announced that Dune will be released on November 20th on 2020.
Oh, that's not as far out as I thought.
Nope, not as far as you thought.
I thought it'd be another couple of years.
Nope. But yeah, that is what CNBC.com says. Yep.
Okay, so let's see. There's Timothy Chalamet. Chalamet. Rebecca Ferguson, Dave Bautista, Josh Brolin, Jason Momoa.
Oscar Isaac.
Supposedly Oscar Isaac and Zendaya.
Yeah, Zendaya is still just rumored, but according to IMDb, Stellan Skarsgård is.
I wonder Dave Bautista's gonna be. He's gonna be Duncan, Idaho, probably.
Dave Bautista.
He's actually a really good
Lasso.
actor.
Beast.
Heck.
So wait, which character did you say?
Jas-
Did you say Duncan, Idaho?
Duncan, Idaho.
That's Jason Momoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
He seems a bit young for Duncan, Idaho.
Mm.
Because Duncan, Idaho is like he's like he's like the old grizzled veteran who trains Paul Atreides.
I don't know.
He's like the military advisor to Duke Leto.
My God, Timothy Chalamet looks like a very young Loki.
He might end up being Paul.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Paul Atreides.
but he looks just like who plays Loki?
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, he looks like Tom Hiddleston. It's kind of unnerving.
A little bit, yeah.
So there was a Dune made in the 80s.
Yes, there was.
By David Lynch.
Yes,
I've seen the Dune made in the 80s.
It's
and
there are strong opinions about it either way.
It was
all right.
painful.
It's all right.
No, it was painful, is what it was.
It's an 80s movie for sure.
And
I think it sounds like they really pushed Lynch to make it kind of like Star Wars.
Yeah. Yep.
And then there's also a late 90s, early 2000s sci-fi miniseries of Dune that I actually really, really like. That was actually my first introduction to it. When I was in like high school, I watched it. And then I read the book later, but again, it's a lot of weird philosophical, pseudo-religious stuff.
Yep.
I'm always super into.
Yeah.
And mixed with sci-fi, so of course. No mechs, though.
Nope.
Definitely giant sandworms. Definitely giant sandworms.
You get those instead of mechs.
Which is they ride them, so close enough.
Yeah, sure. All right. So that basically wraps up the news for this week. So let's talk about what's going on with 8-Bit Adventures.
Yeah.
8-Bit Adventure.
So, Patron Comics. Those are up now. Their next one should be going up tomorrow. I have to kind of sketch it out and ink it. But yeah, so The Adventures of Speedy and Monty.
Woo.
So it's Turtle and Terrier Private Eyes. So
that's awesome.
Just little single panel comics featuring the 8-Bit Adventures community's favorite turtle and my dog.
Yes, best pupper.
Because everybody loves animal comics. So
yes.
And then for patrons, again, there is a pilot episode up on Patreon of Berkshire Bites. It's our latest podcast where we go around, my fiance Megan and I, just basically kind of like low-key review local restaurants here in the Berkshires.
Nice.
And then, it may talk about different elements of that restaurant. So the pilot episode's about Kodo. So
your favorite restaurant,
which is a Japanese steakhouse restaurant here. So we talk about like the history of teppanyaki and sort of skills that are employed in that, and the difference between teppanyaki and hibachi, and why the two get confused. Patrons can go check that out. It will not be made available to the public.
This is a patron exclusive.
Yep. And
Woo.
then our next episode, because Megan seemed to enjoy, at least tolerated, working on a
Hey.
podcast.
There we go.
So,
Progress.
yeah, next one might be Biggins Diggins.
Where's that?
That is in Lanesboro.
Lanesboro. I always see it when I go to the bank, but
Yeah, it's
Never been
basically
there.
it's like a diner.
Nice.
Basically, they do breakfast and lunch.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yes. Now, so Sean, for our listeners, if they wanted to become a patron to be able to get this awesome Berkshire Bites content, how could they be able to get access to that?
You can become a patron by going to patreon.com/8bitadventures. For folks viewing the stream, it's in the upper right-hand corner. Go to that link, and any patron level will have access to that.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah. So it can be as little as $1 a month, and
Nice.
you'll get access to that content. So, we have stream. Sorry, tomorrow night, game night stream. It will either be Monster Hunter World or continuing with the adventures of what's basically becoming Lady Sif and the Mighty Nine in Pokemon Let's Go
Wait.
Pikachu.
Are you naming the other ones, like the other Pokemon you catch?
It depends on the Pokemon. So
Okay.
it's not like every Pokemon that I catch is going to be named after the Mighty Nine. It's just that I have some that are being named after the Mighty Nine. So I have a Bulbasaur named Caduceus, and a Nidoran female named Yasha. And I think that's it so far. Let's see. I also
you
have
gotta make sure that the Pokemon fits the name.
I have a Pidgey named Pudge, a Rattata named Splinter. I'm trying to think of what else I have in my party.
You need a big Chungus.
Yeah, that's Snorlax.
yeah. What an absolute unit.
Which
no
I might.
question.
I mean, considering that it's based on Gen 1, I might run a Snorlax in my party because he is an absolute monster in Gen 1.
Yes.
And so when you limit it to like the first 150, even with like updated mechanics, he is still an absolute beast of a Pokemon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably since I can catch Squirtle and Charmander, I'll probably run Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise in my party. So Charizard might be Caleb.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Blastoise. Because I'm not going to name him Ford.
Definitely not.
No. So yeah, I think I have two Mankeys, Diddy and Dixie.
Mm-hmm.
After the Kongs. I have a Beedrill named Zinger, again after Donkey Kong Country. So yeah, I mean it's still the lame Pokemon that you get at the start of the game so far.
Yeah.
Oh no, I caught a Geodude, named him Doty, because I'm gonna make him a Golem. Because you have to have a Golem named Doty.
Oh God, yes.
So yeah. So it'll basically be Lady Sif and I don't know, the cast of Critical Role or something, depending on.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're starting to get Doty in there, like, that's kind of heading into Vox territory.
A little bit.
I mean, it is Vox territory.
Yeah.
But.
So yeah. But either that or Monster Hunter World, since I just hit Hunter rank 13 and can do all sorts of exciting quests, and yeah, work on getting my Mega Man Palico armor.
Did I hear Palico?
Yes, so Palicos are
Mega Man.
Palicos are little cat buddies that go on adventures with you.
Oh, right.
The little cat dudes. So because it's made by Capcom, and because Capcom's been doing all sorts of crossover events,
yes,
there are event quests that you can do that when you complete it, you get special materials as well as like tickets that allow you to make certain kinds of like either cosmetic armor or armor that is made to look like outfits from other games but has stats attached to it. So I think right now they're doing like a Witcher crossover.
Yeah, I was watching on Twitch the other day just to
Yeah.
see if I would be into the game, and I saw a bunch of Witcher stuff.
Yeah. But there is one particular quest that apparently, when you complete it, gives your Palico a little Mega Man armor. So
That's adorable.
I'm certainly hoping, because Palicos don't get cosmetic armor, I'm hoping the stats are better than the gold polyester disco ball outfit my Palico's wearing right now, because it has the best stats. It's going back to the old days of WoW when you wore the best stats and you looked like some kind of circus clown.
Yep.
Instead of, hero of Azeroth.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm not sure quite yet what I'll do. I will probably put a poll up for patrons to vote on.
Cool.
Although if it was like last week, it'll be, 2 votes for Pokemon and that's it. And I was like, well, it won, so who knows? So, but yeah, I think I'd like to stream Monster Hunter because it's entertaining.
There you go.
And I'm at the point where I'm starting to get like wandering monsters, and they're often big and terrifying, and that always makes for good playing.
Good streaming.
It makes for good broadcasting. Ah!
Just
having
don't go donkey.
Having a giant T-Rex suddenly show up in the middle of something and pick up the monster you're trying to hunt and swing it around. And you're just like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, that was nice. Okay, goodbye.
Yeah. So, and then we have episode 10? Tales of Jamora this week?
I think so, yeah, 10.
Episode 10.
Yes.
So, episode 9.3 still has to get uploaded for patrons, so I'm going to work on getting that up as soon as possible. As I said, normally that stuff gets done over the weekend, and it was crazy. So
yeah, very busy weekend. I can't believe it's only Wednesday.
Yeah. And
this weekend seems like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, it was the
but
weekend.
It hasn't been a week and a half.
The weekend was absolute bonkers, and then this week has just been dragging.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, patrons definitely check out that part because all sorts of harrowing adventures. So, but we're not going to talk about them because spoilers.
Yeah, so. But I have found some fun insult generators for May to use towards Jacob, and I saw that eye roll.
Jacob doesn't even direct anything towards May anymore.
I know.
May is the one holding on to this.
Yep.
Kind of.
A little bit, and that's because that's who she is.
That just sounds like I just need to introduce more enemies to draw May's attention. Yeah.
Well, if May keeps getting, if May keeps being able to hit stuff, she might feel better. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, I mean, this is a bit of news. That's not related to 8-Bit Adventures, but it was worth mentioning. So Critical Role has completed their migration off of Geek and Sundry.
Yeah.
So
I'm all I just want to know, will I still be able to stream them on YouTube on Thursday nights?
My guess would be yes.
From the Critical Role page.
So my guess would be probably from the Critical Role account.
Yeah. Because they didn't say anything about YouTube in their release. They only were saying about Twitch.
Unless it's a Twitch thing. Because I know for affiliates and stuff like that, is Twitch technically has like a 24-hour... I think it's like a 24 to 72 hour like window where they have exclusive rights to that stream. Well,
I guess we will find out this Thursday.
But yeah,
I will find out this Thursday.
congrats, peeps.
Yeah.
This also means that this weekend, I think. Oh no, it's Friday. Search for Grog will be broadcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
So darn, we'll be doing our own shenanigans that night.
Now, is that going to be an alpha exclusive, or will that also be able to
No,
go?
no episodes going forward will be on alpha.
Oh, right. No, I mean, that's going to be on Critical Role, but it's going to be
That'll be
like
on Critical Role.
but it's going to be uploaded to YouTube after. I'm saying it was at a Twitch exclusive. Sorry.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
My guess would be is because it's being broadcast, it would just be the same thing as the stream.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Just waiting until Monday, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I can be patient. I swear.
This also means that if you were like me and you were subbed to both, and you were only subbed to Geek and Sundry for Critical Role, you can kinda cancel that one subscription. Sorry, Geek and Sundry.
There is all sorts of other great shows that Geek and Sundry is putting out. Like if you wanted to look towards other things.
The current belief is that they picked up Relics and Rarities to help fill that time slot.
Yeah, and I've heard that Relics and Rarities is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's a limited run though.
I'm not sure, but
anyway.
I have heard that it's good. So like if you still have your subscription and you want to give something else a try, like totally stay on just for a little bit just to see if you like Relics, and if you don't, then yeah, go ahead and cancel.
Yep. And yeah. So one of the things that we have been discussing, and this is
yes.
The three of us, myself, Courtney, and Josh, in that I'm gonna put you two on the spot, and we're gonna talk about it live right now and discuss it. Is this idea of so I was thinking of making quest log going forward. This and Josh, you had brought this idea up of we all pick a game to play, and we play it and kind of just report on our progress each week.
Yeah,
almost. And you said almost like a video game book club.
Exactly. I was just So basically, a video game. Reason being, so I was watching these two guys on Twitch because they were doing basically it was called Final Fantasy Fiesta.
Mm-hmm.
And these two guys were racing each other through basically the whole Final Fantasy series, and it was just interesting to me to watch them and just to see it. But I was like, oh, you could do this with lots of other things. It'd be interesting, or it's just a good way for you and your friends to all kind of share the experience of a game together. And then I was just like, why don't we think maybe there's a game we could all play, and then we, like I said, we could almost do it like a book club, and every week we talk about, oh, here's where I got, and blah 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 blah, and here's what
I'm still stuck here, and it's the third flaking week that I have been stuck here, and I still can't get it, and guys, help me.
Yeah.
And there's also like no pressure to speed through or anything. Like we wouldn't have to race through. It's just like you do it at your own pace,
Yeah. As I said before, it sounds interesting to me. I think it would definitely give me a chance to stay focused on one game for an extended amount of time, because I flip from game to game quite quickly sometimes. Which is not always bad, because big games like Octopath Traveler really require you to take a break every once in a while.
Lies.
I need to take a break every once in a while.
You might need to.
Yes, I need to.
I was gonna say
I was only taking breaks because the Switch battery was dying while I was away, and I was like, no.
Yeah, if there's a game I'm super into, I'm like,
no break,
nonstop.
No, I don't have the staying power of being able to play for hours and hours and hours upon end.
I don't want breaks, Sean says after he spends the past 4 hours fishing, playing Zelda or something. Or Monster Hunter. Fishing in Monster Hunter. Or Warcraft.
Hey,
I have done that
figured
before.
out how to fish easily in Stardew. Which I was avoiding for
that's my jam.
4 years.
You could call me the Legend of the Fisher King in or what was it? Journey of the Fisherman Legend. There was a whole game series about Fisher Legend thing. It was back on like the GBA or whatever. I thought it Legend of the River King. That's what it was. It was an RPG where you fish. Like the whole game was fishing, but it had RPG elements and like RPG battles and stuff with the fish.
Like game came out a couple years ago called Golf Story. You ever hear of that?
Oh yeah, it's a similar vein.
Yeah.
Golf Story?
Yeah.
How do they make a story out of golf? Is it
I-
like following them?
They put an RPG story behind it.
Yeah, they made an RPG game.
It's like Rocky, but with golf.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't actually think it's anything like Rocky, but to
I
give you an
don't know.
idea.
I never played it. I just remember hearing about it.
Yep.
But I can kind of follow that bit.
So I think what we want to do right now on air is figure out what we want to play.
Wow.
So
Okay.
so here's the caveat: is it's got to be something that if it's on Switch has to
Right.
also be cross-platform,
Well,
or it's on Steam.
here's the thing. I think I'm gonna buy a Switch in the next couple days.
Woohoo!
You totally should.
Well, in that
Kind
case,
of, there's a few reasons. One, there's some games coming in the future that I'm definitely interested in.
absolutely.
There's a couple games I was interested to some extent, like Octopath. That
Yes.
it wasn't
Yep.
enough. It wasn't enough on its own to get me to buy a Switch yet. But now I'm seeing more titles. Like, okay,
Yeah.
and just I'm doing okay financially right now, and I
Yeah.
kind of want to treat myself.
Yeah.
Yes, treat
Like,
yourself.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Don't beat yourself.
Exactly.
Listen to Retta. Treat yourself.
So I
okay.
think within the next
All
few
right,
days I'm gonna
then.
get a Switch. So let's not let
Okay.
that not hold you back.
All right.
I was
Of course,
gonna
I don't
say,
have
'cause,
my Switch
Josh,
on me right
you
now.
had brought up the Final Fantasy, is it 9?
Yeah, so that was one of the ones I had thought, Final Fantasy 9, because one, it's on Steam. It's also it had just come out on the Switch last week.
Yep.
And I also thought you would both like that game, because I know Sean likes RPGs. I don't know if you ever played 9. I don't think you have.
I have never. I mentioned last week I've never played 9.
Yeah. So I think you would probably like it, particularly because the art styles goes back to a more classic Final Fantasy look, and I think you would appreciate the art style in that game a little more than like 7 or 8. It looks a lot different, and I think Courtney would probably like it too.
Oh God, yeah.
I have
much-
played through
it's a
7
much more-
twice
Yeah.
on PC.
So yeah, and I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think 9 would be more up your alley aesthetically and story wise, just from knowing what you generally like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely up my alley. I just have to wait till payday to buy it.
Right.
Like it's literally like on my list. I just need to get money to get it.
So here's another thought: is alternatively Hollow Knight.
Oh yeah.
What's that game about?
So that game is you play as a little insect knight, and you journey through the land of bugs, for something, but it's very much in the style of like Metroid or Castlevania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's reviewed really well, and I bought it and I haven't touched it. So
Actually,
that was the only reason why I was kind of trying to shy away from Final Fantasy IX, is that I haven't bought it yet, and I'd rather pick something that I already have and haven't started. Or something that I already have and would be willing to start over again, like perhaps Stardew Valley. We'll get you to do it, Josh.
Is that a game? So here was something else. Does that game have a win state? Like, can you finish the game?
So like the Harvest Moon games, it's I think you play through 2 years, and then it gives you like a rating, and like that's typically considered like the sort of end, quote unquote. You can keep playing after that, and then it's more of just like, you know, if you want to, you know, complete anything, or like you pick goals for yourself, kind of a thing. But that's typically what it is. Like at 2 or 3 years, you're given like a rating based on what you've accomplished in the game.
It's after 2 full years.
2 full years.
Is there a storyline in the game?
There are.
There are
So here's the thing.
miles.
There's little storylines based on interactions with villain. It's basically side quests. There is no overarching plot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's kind of like Animal Crossing in that regard. And I'm sure you would hate it.
I would. I was thinking more of a game with a story, so we could, again, almost like book club,
Mm-hmm.
kind of talk about that type of stuff as well. But if you guys voted on it, I would flip and play it.
It does have a multiplayer mode now for Switch.
Is
That
there
might-
PvP? Can I go destroy somebody's farm?
Well,
invade
so
somebody's
No,
so
farm?
here's the thing.
you
You all have the same farm, but yes, you could destroy everybody else's crops if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it.
Like, yeah, you wouldn't get like loot or anything. Like you wouldn't
No, you would literally
earn
just
anything out of
you
it.
would literally just destroy the amount of work that somebody else put into
Right.
growing those crops. Which, by the way, all of your money is also shared. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, no. I mean, Hollow Knight is a thing. It could be play through one game of Civ 6.
oh, geez.
And see who does what.
Let's see what else is there that has a big story. Because I mean, like Mario Odyssey has a story. Pokemon.
Right. What else did I what was that? Tales of whatever that came out
Tales
just
of
recently.
Vesperia.
The definitive edition
Yep.
that just came out.
Yep.
That might be decent.
Starlink. If you want your on rails space shooter with Star Fox.
When I was looking at, I went to GameStop the other day and started looking at Switch stuff because I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy one. I'm like, oh, what games would I get? Starlink was a thought.
Yeah.
And as we noted, it's getting DLC.
Yep.
Let's see, Dragon Quest Builders. I'm just looking through the list of games. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I don't really want to play through that game again. It took so long the first time.
That's a long game.
That is a long
Please
game.
don't make me play through that game.
I
think we're all in agreement on that one. Thank goodness.
Only because I already watched all the cutscenes to it, so I already know the story.
Yeah, it's just too long of a game for me to be able to do it.
Shovel Knight, Terraria. Overcooked 2. That one it doesn't really have a story. Like, it has a very light story, but it has you progress through levels.
Yeah.
So I would say that would be the other stipulate is if like, because like, if there's like a 2D platformer, like classic Mario, like very light on story, but like it still has a sense of progression through the game.
Yeah, you can still say I got to this level, and
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
that would be fun.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
That one would be really fun, I think.
That's kind of a puzzle.
Yeah, I like puzzle
It's like a puzzle
games.
game.
I really like puzzle games. It would be a great excuse for me to get it.
Josh is saying no.
Josh is saying, yeah, Josh is silence.
Puzzle games. Ugh.
What you got against puzzles? Keeping your mind sharp.
Everything.
We
Keep
all
my
bring
mind sharp by reading.
we all bring this back to 2011 and do the old Skyrim.
Oh God,
Skyrim on Switch.
It made me physically ill.
Actually. Well, you can put it into third person.
Yeah, but the non-fixed camera, I tried for like 3 hours one day to play it because I rented it from work, and I just could not get it. It was painful.
So what if you put it into first person then?
That's even worse.
Okay. So that also kind of
the
then
fixed camera part.
That then rules out pretty much every third person RPG then. So yeah, this may be more difficult than we thought.
Maybe.
No, it was Skyrim really made me really ill. I think it was because of everything was moving around already.
I would say
I
when
don't
Link's
know.
Awakening comes out, we should do Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Oh, that's right. You don't like Zelda.
I'll play it. I'll bear it.
Just pretend it's Super Mario RPG.
Right.
Because all the enemies are Mario enemies.
Zelda, I could do Zelda. I just choose not to, just because it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's just those older games. There's so much like going in your menu and switching items around and stuff. I hate having to stop and change. In newer ones they fix that because it's all just on your controller and you can just do it. Right. It's not like you have to go into menus. Right. I just hate things where you have to stop and go into menus and during gameplay, particularly adventure games. RPGs no, because that's part of the game is managing stuff like that.
Or there's the old Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate.
That's true.
Again, little light on story.
But again, I think if it has levels and some sort of way to track progression.
Hunter rank.
How much can you grind?
With that game?
All day long.
That's the whole game.
That is the that
is the game.
Joke.
Yep. So yeah, I don't know any strong contenders. Do we think?
I'm still on Final Fantasy IX.
I kind of am too.
That was just what I was feeling.
Okay, I'll just I might be able to use my gift card. I still have an American Express gift card from when I bought my computer. Mm-hmm. See if I can use that.
No, talk about gift cards. I went to Barnes & Noble today, and I had these 2 gift cards in my wallet that I don't know how much are on these. Could you just see if there's anything? Yeah. And the woman ran it, and it paid for my thing, but it didn't tell me how much was left on the card.
Really? On the receipt? It didn't say how much was left?
Yeah, and she's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And she got the manager, and he's like, I don't know if it charged you anything. Don't sweat it. He's like, I would just deal with it. So it
went through.
Hey, I just got 2 free books. I was like, all right, man.
Well, I mean, it went through, so I mean, I would imagine it would say like if it took off everything and there wasn't enough, then I mean, I know at GameStop it says there was this amount available on the card. Add more.
Yeah, it didn't say anything. It just said transaction completed.
Yeah, so it must have had enough on it for your books.
I guess.
Yeah. All right, so
you'll figure out the next time you use those books, those cards.
So, all right, we'll plan on Final Fantasy IX then.
Okay. Nice.
So I just want to make sure that we have like a list of games to do, like when we finish Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah.
To have one ready to get go, because that's my only concern with this is if we run out of games. But
why don't we do that Hollow Knight one next?
Yeah, and Hollow Knight. I mean, Hollow Knight's another big kind of game. Because I'm sure it's one of those. It might be one of those like Super Metroid, where like if you know what you're doing, yeah, you can finish the game in like a couple hours. But if you're like me and you have no idea what you're doing,
right?
It could be like 100 hours before you finally figure out what you're supposed to. Before you finish the game. Not before you know what you're supposed to do. That was growing up trying to play Super Metroid and renting it for like a weekend and then never getting past the opening area with Samus's ship.
Oh wow.
As I couldn't figure out how to actually play the game.
Oh my god.
And then I was like, I don't like Metroid. Oh, that was my experience with Super Metroid growing up. I
started playing original Metroid as a kid and just being like, this is really confusing. Every screen looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
At least to me as a 5-year-old kid, I was like, what the heck?
No, that is a fair assessment of Metroid for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It is it is very confusing and just
Just remember thinking and so dumb. Thinking I was hot stuff because at the beginning of the game, if you go left instead of right, you go get the ball thing right away.
Yep.
It's like, ooh, a secret.
Yep.
Yes, so terribly secret.
That everybody knew.
Mm-hmm.
So, listeners, viewers, if you want to join us in our quest log adventure, be sure to either on Steam or whatever, so we'll say starting tomorrow, but I'm not going to do it on stream though.
I may stream it a bit. I actually might do the Steam version.
Okay.
Just because there's some graphical mods I'd like to.
As I said, I have to wait till payday till I can get it, but.
So that would be Friday.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll say starting on Saturday. So nobody can start until Saturday.
Okay.
So listeners,
that's fine.
If you're up for that,
Xenoblade to do.
Yeah. We will see you then, and we'll report back on Wednesday.
Sounds good.
So.
Yeah.
All right. With that, we're gonna wrap things up here before Discord cuts out again or tries to cut out.
Hey,
again.
we've been lucky.
We've been very
we
lucky.
have been lucky, but I don't want to push it. So, listeners, if you want to see more content from 8-Bit Adventures, you can head on over to 8bitadventures.com. That's 8-bitadventures.com. Over there, you can find links to the 8-Bit Adventures comic, the 8-Bit Adventures podcast, this podcast, other podcasts and streams and shows, as well as my portfolio of artwork. If you like that content and you want to support 8-Bit Adventures and become a patron and get access to things like the pilot episode of Berkshire Bites, you can head on over to patreon.com/8bitadventures and become a patron. Big shout out and thank you to all of our current patrons, especially our two newest ones, Mike Drizga and our very own Golden Twill Boy, Matt Tucker.
Woo!
Who you will see Friday night.
Yes.
On Tales of Jamora. Our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. And with that, folks, we're going to head out. So, as always, have fun, happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake.
Bye, everybody.
Take it later.